This is Julie with Coffee News, that little brown paper you see everywhere. And this is another episode of A Cup of Coffee News. Today I am at Family Hearing and Balance Center, and this is Dale Hansen, and he's going to tell us a little story and show us around the place and tell you a little bit about Family Hearing and Balance.
Hi, I am Dale.
Hi.
This is Family Hearing and Balance Center, where we work with hearing loss, balance testing, and tinnitus therapies. Now, when you first walk into our office, this is the first face you see here. This is Jen.
Hi, Jen.
She does the greeting, the phones, talks with the patients, does the paperwork, and then she forwards it to the back office and they process it from there.
Okay.
But she's the first one you see, and that's the nice, she takes care of the coffee. We have fresh coffee here.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to make it a real warm atmosphere for people that, especially that don't like to go to the doctor's office. And we have an open window policy. That window's always open, correct?
Yes, always.
So we can, you've been to those doctor's office, they close the window and they kind of
Ignore you.
Feel like you're interrupting them.
Mm-hmm.
They never feel that way here.
Good.
It's more family.
Wonderful.
So come on over, let's look at the testing area.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
This is our testing booth.
Uh-huh.
And what we do is we place folks in here and they can hear the audiologist, and it's completely soundproof, and we can better test where their hearing loss is and what frequencies. So there can be 16 to 20 frequencies that we're looking at.
Oh.
And the software is top of the line, and we work with almost every lab in the world.
Oh, wow.
To work with these stuffs, and that's including tinnitus. So we work with almost every lab that is researching. We're a research member for the American Tinnitus Association.
Oh, okay.
In the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And also we do balance testing for folks that are having problems with their balance.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a little bit of faith as far as the family and the patient, and as also with the audiologist. And when I talk about what we do here, I can't just do the nuts and bolts. I like to tell stories. I'm a storyteller, so let me tell you one about being engaging in your life and participating in your life, because it's been documented that folks that have hearing loss, especially if they have Alzheimer's, start to disengage and not participate.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite stories is a young boy was getting bullied, had problems at school, and his mother said, "What's going on? The classes are hard. 3 or 4 of the boys and girls are bullying me. I'm not going to go. It's really difficult."
Mm-hmm.
And she tried to make him go, and he started to refuse under threat of being punished by his mother. And she said, "What am I going to do with this?" Her mother had a farm.
Mm-hmm.
He loved to go there. It had chickens and vineyards and cows and horses, and it was a full farm. And he loved to go there, and she said, "I'll send him there for the weekend and have my mother take a stab at him." So as soon as he walked through the door, he just was pleading his cause with his grandmother, and his grandmother smiled, as grandmothers do. And she said, "Listen, you take this basket," and she went over to the fireplace. And she took this dingy old gray basket and took a couple pieces of firewood out of it. She said, "I need you to go over to the creek, and I need you to fill this basket with water, and then we'll go do something special. And then I want to hear all about your problems."
Mm-hmm.
So the little boy went to the creek, and as soon as he got back to Grandma, there was no water. It was a wicker basket, so it was draining out. And the grandmother smiled, and she said, "I guess you have to run faster." So he ran faster, did it 2 or 3 times, and she said, "Well, maybe try and hold your hands on the bottom and hold the water in, and then run fast."
Mm-hmm.
So he tried that. He came back with an empty basket. He threw it on the floor. He says, "Grandma, this is impossible." So she lifted him up and put him on the counter and picked up the basket. And she says, "Now look at this basket. It was old and it was gray and it was dingy. Now look at it. It's clean and it has a new purpose." And she put it on the table. And she says, "You not going to school is like you sitting beside that fireplace and not doing nothing, and you're going to be the same old person because you're not participating in life." Now, since this basket participated in our experiment, look at it. the water flowing through it has made it a new basket and a new purpose. And when you participate in your life, it's like that water running through the wicker
Right.
and the basket. You become cleaner, brighter, stronger, and you provide something new to the world. So she went over and she got some fruit out of the fruit bowl, and she said, and with that new purpose, you become more fruitful. And she put fruit in the basket, and she got jam out of the cupboard, and homemade jam in the jar, and she put that in the basket, and she says, become sweeter. And then she went over to the oven and opened it up, and she took out freshly baked bread, warm, and she put that in the basket, and she says, you develop warm compassion. She says, you sitting at home and not participating, not engaging in your life, you lose faith. And when you lose faith, you never change. If you keep faith in what you're doing, you're going to become brighter and cleaner, and you're going to find purpose down the road. You can't say it's all terrible now, because you're going to be stronger and better and smarter on the other side of this, because it will get better. And she said, you can't determine what you're going to be down the road. And speaking of down the road, I've got a sick friend that could really use this basket. What you say we go do something amazing? And he jumped off the counter and grabbed the basket and said, Grandma, let me carry it. I want to participate. So sometimes in hearing loss, the hearing aid doesn't work, it's not working for them, the settings are wrong, and 4 or 5 times they start losing faith, and it's the job of the audiologist to encourage them and keep them coming back, because there's always a solution to find, to keep going, and that's how our office works. And we constantly talk to our staff about encouraging this and keeping the patients and their families coming back, because we're not going to stop. And it's sometimes the patient loses faith and they get frustrated because they don't like to think that they have to do this anyhow. People don't like to take pills, or they think hearing aids creates a discrimination or an age discrimination. That's just not true. It really can make their life better if they just participate and engage in their lives. And that's what we want to do, because then you can find miracles.
Right.
A grandchild you hadn't heard, birds you hadn't heard, crunchy leaves in the fall underneath your feet that you thought was gone. And one lady was telling me, she says, when you peel potatoes, you know that makes sound? I didn't know that made sound. I forgot all about that.
Wow.
So we work with hearing loss, balance, and tinnitus, and we're in 3 locations. This is the Akron location, South Arlington, which is just south of the falls. And then we have another location, Cardinal Hearing Centers, which is to the north of the falls. And at any time.
Yeah, and you do have a location at Laurel Lake, right?
Yeah, we have a clinic in Laurel Lake, and we work with the residents there, and we're very excited about that. So we're here to help, and when you're here to help, you don't stop helping. And that's what we love to do here, is work with these folks, and you get to know them. This place has been here 20 years, so he just let me know in June that was his anniversary for 20 years in this location. Wow. So he's doing what he needs to do, and he really does see it as he's a steward of this. It's been given to him through doing good things and his faith in his religion, and that's the way we run things here as a family. So,
and that's Dr.
Richard Rykowski.
That's right.
And the phone number here is 330-644-1932, and Jen will politely say hello.
And what's your website?
www.hearingbetterohio.com.
Great. And if you didn't catch all that, you can find their ad in Coffee News to get that contact information, to give Jen a call, and Family Hearing and Balance is here for you to help you be more engaged. Thanks very much, Dale. This was great.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So everybody have a wonderful 4th of July, and thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Go Tribe.
Go Tribe.